Hi, I'm Tim and I'm the shop teacher. In today's video we're going to build this children's arts and crafts table. We build it with a half a sheet of plywood and one 2x4, and it's built mostly with a circular saw and a screw gun. Hope you enjoy the video. Okay, the first step in this project is going to be to cut our legs out of this 2x4. We need 4 legs. Each end of them has a 22.5 degree bevel on them. So you could lay that out with a speed square, but since I forgot mine at home and I have access to a miter saw, I'm going to use my miter saw to cut the legs. So I'm going to set my saw to 22.5. From this long point to the next part is 21 inches. So I'm going to measure that. Set my sliding T-bevel to that angle. Got these legs cut out. Our next step is to break down this sheet of plywood into the pieces for the table. We need a top, we need a shelf, and then we need 2 supports for the legs. Now, typically, I would rip this on the table saw, but since I know not everybody has one, I'm going to use a circular saw for this project. I've set my blade to just slightly thicker than my material, deeper than my material, and I'm going to run down this line here, and then I'll cross cut it. The next step is to find the center this way and the center this way so I can put my legs on these pieces. Once you have both center lines marked on these boards, you're going to want to mark where you're going to drill it so that you can attach the leg to it. And I'll pre-drill. I stacked them on top of each other. I just want to make sure I don't go all the way down into my table. That's the dullest bit in America. Once you have your holes drilled, get a center line down the center. I don't have anybody to help me here today, so I've just stacked up a half inch and a 3/4 inch board, which gives me enough space to line that up in the center. Once you've got those lined up, put a good bead of glue on here. This is end grain, so it's going to soak up some of that glue. Line that up with the center. Drive your screws. Okay, the last major piece I need to cut is the shelf, which is going to be 12 by 29. I'm going to lay that out, cut it now, and then I'll have all of my major pieces. I did go over to my scrap box and I pulled out a couple pieces of plywood that I had in there, and I made some pieces that were 3/4 by 1.5 inches. I'll cut those to length later once I make my shelf. They need to be 12 inches long. I have a big giant pile of scrap wood, so that's easy for me. If you don't have any scrap wood, a 1x2 would be a perfect piece to use for that. Get a short little piece. You need about 2 feet. I'm going to come down here a little bit further than this line, and then I'll cross cut it this way, and I'll save this large piece. That looks like a bench right there, maybe for this table or here or something like that. Okay, now that we have our leg assembly together, what I want to finish is the leg sub-assembly. So we're going to locate the shelf bracket here, and then we'll add the shelf to attach the 2 legs together, making one unit, making it easier to place it on the top and find the right spot. So what I'm going to do is measure down both sides, find the center, and I will attach this with a little bit of glue and some 2-inch screws. The next step is to fix this shelf up so it's ready to go. I'm going to put 2 holes in either end, countersunk, so that I can screw it into the shelf brackets. Before I do that, I want to round these edges over. On the top edge, I'm going to use my trim router with a 1/4 inch round over bit in it. If you don't have one of those, that's fine, because on my bottom edge, I'm just going to use a palm sander, random orbit sander here, and knock that edge off. You could also do it with just a block of wood with a piece of sandpaper wrapped around. You just want to make sure it's not sharp, so when the kids touch it, they don't A, get splinters, and B, don't, just have an uncomfortable touch there. Now that the leg assembly is complete, there's a few things I want to do to the top before I attach it. I want to take and round over these corners. That way if a child comes and runs, they don't run into a sharp corner. And then I also want to take my router and go around the edge, both top and bottom, to make that soft edge so the kids don't have any sharp edges to touch. So I'm going to use a paint can actually just to make that corner, and then I will take a jigsaw and cut it, sand it with my palm sander, and then run around the whole thing with my trim router. Okay, the last step is to center the leg assembly on the bottom of the top. I hope you liked and enjoyed today's video on building this little kid's table. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. You can hit the bell notifications so you know when we upload new videos. Be on the lookout for a bench to go along with this table.